Ooh, look what he's reading. What are you reading?
Yo, I'm finally learning about the mysterious character Trinity that's been teased for months in the pages of
What?
Wonder Woman 800.
That is amazing. We should talk about that.
Let's do
You
it.
know what? We'll talk about it, but right after this. So, welcome to this newest edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to this channel because you want to be alerted, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're alerted whenever we upload new content, because we're always uploading new content.
We're doing
Make
that.
sure you hit the like button, and make sure you leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing.
And what you think of
We
these books that we're talking about.
Exactly. And we just 2 weeks ago we were talking about the Flash 800. Now we have Wonder Woman 800. Those are some sexy covers. Brian Boland and Daniel Sampere, I believe, it does a
I
foil on
love it.
that.
It's the Linda Carter spin.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
right.
it's
Dun,
the
dun,
Linda
dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun,
there are
dun, dun,
so
dun,
many
dun.
fantastic covers for this issue. If you haven't picked it up yet and you go to your LCS, don't settle for the first one you see. Be sure to look around.
That's right. 800 issues, 800 covers. Um, So, this is actually this is the last of this numbering. We're going to start with a brand new number one when we come back. Although we'll say Legacy 801 on it, I
That's
would
what I was
think.
about to say. I hope that we're going to be keeping legacy numbers at DC now that they're doing the little start over at one thing.
Right, correct. But this issue actually starts off. It's a continuation of issue number 799, which was the last issue. And we have basically Wonder Woman is kind of out for the count for the most part. And she is having these different types of dreams. And the first one we see with her basically has her, and each of these dreams, it also has a secondary person in them, someone who is very important to her in some sort of relationship. Um, whether it be on Paradise on the Themyscira, or whether it be in the Justice League, or whatever it happens to be. We start with Yara Flor. Wonder Girl is in her first dream.
Yeah, it was wild. It was, first off, you turn the page and you see Yara on this amazing artwork. Color palette's insane, the art style. It was awesome to see that they didn't mail in this issue. They went into it. They really
Absolutely.
leaned into it.
So
Monkey
we have
distracted
Yara.
me. Where are we?
That's okay. We're just talking about, we're just on the very first dream that she's having. So.
Okay, yeah. So we see Yara. It opens up with Yara talking about hunting, being a good hunter and everything, and sneaking up on Diana, and Diana kind of looking into the middle distance at a threat coming, and talking about how you have to be wary of your threats and stay on your toes, and how they can often teach you something about yourself. Be ready for that too. So it was kind of cool. We kind of get an idea of the plot method in this, that these dreams will be bouncing around through guest characters, discovering, unpacking, or looking into aspects of Diana through this anniversary issue. And that was really the one that they leaned into for Yara, was letting your fight teach you about you, kind of thing, which plays heavily to Yara because she's so young. There's those lessons that need to be instilled in her and everything. So it kind of was a great counterbalance of characters.
Right, correct. And so we have Diana, who is teaching, Yara, some of the aspects of how to fight this particular being, whatever it is you want
All
to
of
call it.
hands.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Uh, um, and then kind of, it's slightly
That's what it was.
that's the international symbol for what
For ball of hands rolling at
for a
you.
ball of hands. Yeah, exactly. And as soon as they defeat it, though, then we see this bright flash, and suddenly now she's on to the next dream.
Yeah, then
Um,
we get a peek into reality at that point. The bright
right.
flash takes us back to Paradise Island inside of the Cave of Every Wind. Apparently, that's where Diana is laying comatose with the Oracle sisters over her, kind of monitoring her, making sure she's okay, recognizing that she's not dead, that she's clearly on a dream of spiritual discovery kind of thing. So then
Right.
At that point, we take off into the next dream.
Correct. And we see the original Wonder Girl,
Yes, Donna Troy,
Donna
just
Troy.
fastly approaching her. We get we do the hello thing through every one of these characters. We do the
Right.
hello in here, and kind of like just hugs and all that. And then she turns around and she sees New Kronos, which I don't know what the hell that is.
New
They're-
Kronos was something that was actually created in the George Perez run, way back in the 80s after Crisis on Infinite Earths. Um, it was kind of the new. It was one of the places where like the Titans were and everything. It was one of the, George Perez really kind of leaned back into the mythology part of Diana.
So it makes
Um,
sense now that Donna Troy is the one associated with that. And this scene with Donna was super short. It was really just meant to just last long enough for Wonder Woman to tell her that she's always been her favorite star in the night sky. It's
Right.
just one of those moments where you're like, okay, I see what we're doing here. We're reminding the readers that we didn't forget about these characters that we forgot about, and that they're the best one there is. Like Yara's the best, Donna's the best, Diana's the
and
best, and
and then we have Cassie.
Cassie's the best.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, because
So
as
we have
soon as
Cassie.
Wonder Woman and Donna dap it up, it switches over, and we're on Apocalypse, releasing a throw where Cassie, Wonder Girl, is throwing Diana through the air, and she's getting her bearings to say, "Whoa, what's happening? Why are we on Apocalypse?" And Cassie says, "Easy, we got to stop him, none other than Darkseid." And they come in for a double haymaker and drop him quick, and that one was over with. No context, no nothing, just quick guest appearance.
Yeah, some of these really are. I mean, some of these go on for a couple pages, like the one that we're going to get to next. But other ones, like Donna Troy and Cassie, are quick, like really quick blips. Almost, blink and you miss them. But um, because then we move on to she starts to meet now people rather than her sisters from Themyscira or people that considered to be part of her family almost. Now we start to move into some of her professional relationships, for lack of a better term.
And I do
And
want to point out real quick and ask for your opinion on this next part. Like, there is a narrator in this.
Right.
And Diana starts communicating with the narrator at this point in the book. As we get one page where you see Diana's narration bubbles have the red border and they have the star around them. And we get this narration blurb where they're knocking out Darkseid that says, "It's always been easy to love my friends." And then we get a plain blank kind of just lit up panel, and that's where we get introduced to this secondary narrator, this non Wonder Woman narrator, and it says, but you ever have room in your heart for sworn rivals. You believe in second chances, redemption. Others grow because you show them it's possible." And then Wonder Woman says, "I'm sorry, but whoever you are, you're wrong. True change comes from within." And then they start having a discussion about what we just said. And eventually she says, "Let's find out, shall we?" And you see her reach her hand out. And then we turn the page to our next one. So at this point now we have multiple narrators going through this story. Did you catch the multiple?
Right. Yes. And actually, later on, she actually is standing in a cave, and we'll see two people that are kind of blacked out in the back that are talking. So those are the narrators. I almost thought, I
I want
originally
to
thought
go
that
ahead and
maybe,
plant the seed of that, because what is said in that cave moment, there's going to be something said that's very meta that I
right.
thought was pretty smart.
Yep, exactly. So we go to, to your point, we hear some of the, her interactions with this, nebulous narrator at this point. And then we move to her next dream, and, we see young Bruce Wayne.
We're in Crime Alley.
Right, exactly. And we see,
He pretty much,
Yep.
we're inside of his dream. He has this dream
Yep.
every night, reliving the night that his parents died, talking to the narrator, like, "Why are we here? We shouldn't be here." And they're like, "Yeah, you should be here because y'all share in this thing called pain, but y'all have reacted and responded to it differently." And Batman recognizes her in his dream, sees her in his dream, and starts interacting with Wonder Woman.
right, exactly. And so through the discussions that he has, we're going to make a distinction. There's a very clear distinction that Diana makes between Batman and the next character that she's going to meet. And how they each deal with pain and things like that.
Yeah, there was a pretty cool moment. Diana recognizing, like, y'all look at me like I'm like impervious to emotion, like I'm just a warrior, that like I don't have pain, I do have pain. And Batman's like, I look to you like that because I look to you as my foundation. You're the rock that kind of, he like his measuring stick, you know, he judges himself based on the ones around him, including Diana.
Right, and he even says that he looks to her because she is so much better than he is.
Of course, that's how Wonder Woman books go these days, apparently.
Exactly,
Every time
exactly,
we read one, it's just
exactly.
people telling Wonder Woman she's better than everyone. That
She's
keeps
gonna
happening.
she's gonna she's gonna have a huge head by the time she gets to issue number 1,000.
Yeah.
So everybody just keeps telling her that she's how good she is. Um, but he says, that um, he's in pain all the time, and to your point, when he looks at her, he sees her rock. And then we actually see Wonder Woman actually reach out. Wonder Woman is now in that alley with Bruce Wayne, and Wonder Woman reaches out and lets Bruce Wayne, a young Bruce Wayne, know that you'll never be alone. And then young Bruce Wayne says, "You're so much better than." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah,
then
but
and then
yeah,
and then
Bruce, we
we
see
then we
Bruce
see
wake up,
yeah.
recognize that she was in his dream. Damn it, Diana. Always there when I need you the most, even in my dreams.
Da, 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 da.
Cheese
Um,
ball turning the page.
exactly. Um, so then we go back to where the current time with Wonder Woman, and we have these three women basically chanting over Diana, and um, uh,
Yeah, the
and she's
Oracle is in
talking
the
about
cave
where
of
she's going to go
pain.
next. And she says that Bruce actually inspires her as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then
Narrator says your friends are broken. We all are in our own way, but he
right,
and you inspire him to be better. He inspires me as well. It's like that unity that the league has with each other. But that's some awesome stuff. They really do just make each other stronger.
they are. That's why they're the Trinity, which I loved that book. They should bring that back. Um,
You just gave me an idea on who the kid's father is.
yeah. So, and then we see the next dream. We see just at the bottom of the page, we see Diana reaching out, and she's now touching a Kryptonian crystal. And so we know who the next visitor is going to be in her dreams, and it is, of course, Kal-El.
Yeah,
So,
she goes to him. He's talking about how he can hear everybody talking about the decisions that he makes based off that pretty much. You know, how it can be rough hearing all the cries of 100 newborn babies, farewells from dying, from family and friends, all the moments of every life. They find me even here. And Wonder Woman's talking about how that'd be a lot for anybody to handle, but the ability to accept that is like a big deal.
right,
Pretty
and
much they're
so
stroking each other's egos in this one.
right. And he's lamenting the fact, that he can hear all these things and he has to make decisions, and when he makes one decision, it impacts the people that he didn't go and save or whatever. And so, she says to him that that's one of the things that she actually admires about him is not that he doesn't feel pain, but that he understands that perfection is impossible.
He recognizes himself and it was impossible. They hit a crystal, they teleport to space. They're hugging in space, looking at Earth and space, saying it's so beautiful, so much it hurts. This was kind of weird. They looked like they were having a romantic moment here, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like they're like, it's so beautiful, but they're looking into each other's eyes, so much it hurts, kind of thing. Like, dude, what is happening here? Like,
It's it's
look at the view. Don't look at her. This isn't
it's the new
Lois.
it's the new 52 all over again.
Yeah. Narrator
Uh,
recognizes the fact that Clark hides his pain so well, most people wouldn't even know that he has pain. And
right.
then we move on. She wakes up, or
What?
does she?
Right. Go on.
Okay, so we turn the page and she pops up out of her sleep. Her mom has her hand on her face, and they blah, blah, blah.
Right. And so she has some words with her mother about your heart has always been a compass. It never steered you wrong. And she says basically she's ready for whatever comes next. And then that's when we see her in this cave with these people that have been, these shadowed people behind her.
I kind of feel like it's just her behind her.
Because it's a shadow of herself.
Yeah, I think they're like that's just me. I was like wondering if they're just like reflections of herself, kind of thing. Like I wouldn't know who they could be or couldn't be. I don't read the Wonder Woman run. I picked this up because it's anniversary issue. TK has a story in here. We're going to be picking up Tom King's run, but it was pretty cool because we see our narrators now. We don't get detail on who they are, but we see them shadowed out. It says, "In your heart, you know us already. We've always been with you at every ending, every beginning, and all the panels in between." So it's either the reader, she's talking to the reader, because it says in all the panels in between, or it's got to be some form of herself.
Right. So you think one of them is the beacon, one of them is the warrior, one of them is a trusted companion.
Well, you see this one, I think this is the one from the 70s when they put her in the jumpsuit and took away her power. I'm being serious.
It could be. It could be.
See the hair?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. The other one's clearly wearing a t-shirt. So I don't know. She wakes up and she's refreshed. She's alive. She's excited. She's lamenting on her friends, her relatives, her loved one. We get the narrator saying how she's all the different things to different people, how the different people that enjoy this character, that follow this character, relate to this character in many different ways. As somebody who can be a beacon of hope, as somebody who can be fearless, as someone who is a warrior, a trusted companion, and just kind of highlighting the aspects of Wonder Woman as we get to the final page, which is a beautiful, beautiful splash page where we see the warrior of truth.
Right, exactly.
And that's how we
find out, what this the title of this issue is, a callback to the Alan Moore "Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow" and the Neil Gaiman one that he did in Batman. Whatever. Both of those were deconstructions of the character, basically.
Oh God, Superman was so good.
Exactly. But showing exactly, what the components were of that particular character and how they all come together to make the
and it says that this is part 2, so I'm not privy to part 1. I'm guessing that it was Wonder Woman issue 799.
Correct.
Which, having read this, don't feel like I needed it.
Yeah.
This was solid. This was good, but I feel like this was full. Like it's self-contained. If you haven't been following this, definitely worth the read. But what comes next, I think, was fantastic.
Correct. And so just like we got in the Flash, where we got a look forward by Si Spurrier, here we'll get a look forward by Tom King. So, but interestingly enough, the look forward by Tom King does not start with Wonder Woman.
No,
Wonder Woman is not at all even in this story.
The look forward is a look forward, even because we're not starting in present time with this one. What's so fantastic is we kick it off on the beach. We see grown Damian and John Kent. World's finest right there. We already know Damian has that suit from Batman 666 from the most recent run of World's Finest. That's definitely grown Damian's look, and I like that they keep bringing it back. But we have John and Damian standing on the beach waiting on somebody, and Damian's asking John to look out there, see if she's close. He's like, she hates it when we spy. I can see all the way out into space. I can see the cosmos, but to be honest with you, I can't even see her. I don't know where she is.
Right. And then the page, we get the full page of her. And did somebody say Trinity? I did say Trinity before.
Yeah. So DC Comics presents Trinity. She's behind him. Kind of joke about how that they can't. How she's just good. She sneaks up on him. And I remember somebody saying, like, "What's the deal with her? Why she has 2 lassos?" No, if you look, she has 3 lassos. She has a gold, a silver, and a black, one on each hip, and then one draped around her chesticles.
Her chesticles.
But then we go to the next page, and she's late, but she just hops in and starts walking, leading the pack, and she's kind of reminds me of Gold Beetle a little bit. That she seems kind of hyper. She likes to talk and just like talk over and talk fast, where you kind of just can't keep up. You just got to roll with the punches. She sets the pace in the 3rd page here. we get an introduction to her name. They said, "We're coming, Lizzie, up, and all of it." So her name is Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie. So there we got our first little bit of information here. We're told that they're going to the Magic Cave of Death, quote unquote. That's why they're all here meeting up on Paradise Island, what it seems like. And they eventually ask her, is it really called the Magic Cave of Death? And just bantering, she says, well, I figure neither one of y'all keep up with Greek, so I didn't want to waste my time giving you the long name for it. And you can really get an idea of the dynamic of these three. They definitely know each other. They're close. They consider each other siblings. And just the banter with it is fantastic. I'm sorry, I'll just keep rambling.
No, that's fine. But I wanted to say, I was just going to make that point is there's a very poignant thing where Tom King takes the point to say that they're family and they don't do each other favors. There are no favors. There's only obligations.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead now.
So once we get to the cave here, we find out that there's 3 trials. That's why we needed all 3 of them to be here. There's a trial of pain, skill, and honor. And she's kind of doing the fast rambling again, saying which one of us is going to do which. And they kind of look at each other, say, fine. John, you're pain. Damien, you're skill. I'll do the honor thing. Let's roll with it. Come to a statue at the head of the cave. And she said, you have to touch the statue's hand. As long as you're touching it, the door will open. You let it go. The door will close. Don't lock me in there. You got this? You sure you got this? John says, I got this. I've flown through suns. I've done all kinds of stuff. He touches the statue and he's in agony, telling them to hurry. They take a step foot inside, and then we see the god Nike step up. And Nike, this was probably one of my favorite parts. So we already know now Damien's going to have to fight Nike. Nike says, I have fought 10,000 battles, 10,000 warriors, the bravest, the strongest, the hardest, the greatest. I have never lost. I am Nike. I am victory. And Damien looks at him. I am Batman. I'm like, yes. Dude, it was such a moment. And then Nike goes in and Damien dodges and hits him back. Oh, this is going to be it. This is pretty easy. Then Nike clocks him. He said, maybe not easy, but it's going to be fun more or less. So Damien's having the time of his life, fighting an eternal battle that you can't win. Like he's in. So I thought that was fantastic. And then we get to Lizzie, a.k.a. Trinity's part.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Sure. Great. So it looks like we see Diana. Diana's in the cave. And she keeps telling Lizzie, I forbade you, and all of you swore you'd never come here, and yet here you are. You disappoint me, and is trying to talk her out of going any farther. Lizzie's like, dude, you're not my mom. I'm smarter than that. You're not going to trick me. And just kind of hits her back with a young lady. I said not to come in here, blah, blah, blah. And long story short, they actually reference the lasso, kind of pointed out and talk about you have the black lasso to let us, the reader, know that there's something up with not just Trinity, but the trinity of lassos that she has, which makes me wonder if she's not manifested from the gathering of these things. But anyways, she pretty much knows it's not her mom. She's like, look, I know this is all BS. You're not my mom. You said as soon as I walked in here that I disappointed you. I would never disappoint my mom. And she wraps her up with the black lasso, takes her out, and then moves down farther into where they were actually aiming to go, which is one of the best kept secret prisons in all of the world, which is down here, where a mysterious shadowed man is behind a cage. And she's asking some questions as soon as she gets there. But we get our big piece of information here, which also has an Easter egg in it. We get her full name. Elizabeth Marston Prince.
Marston, that's very interesting.
Creator
Because
of Wonder
William Moulton Marston, or William Martin Moulton, was the creator of Wonder Woman. So
co-creator of Wonder Woman. His secret, I don't know, winch.
He had his own Trinity.
He had his own Trinity, and him and his ski poles. They helped create Wonder Woman. But that was an awesome little thing. She said, champion of the Amazons, leader of the Justice League, daughter of Diana. So they did not reveal who her father is, if she has an actual biological father, if she wasn't created in some form or fashion. Right. But he says, so it's true. Even here in the festering dungeon, we hear the rumors. The Trinity has been forged, and she walks among mortal men. The Trinity has been forged.
Correct. Which again is, to your point, is she somehow the product of more than two people?
Yeah. So was there like a menage a trois with Bruce and Clark? Is it actually have something to do with the fact that these 3 lassos are together, which they kind of touch on and reference here a little bit?
Hmm.
She
Right.
pretty much wants this guy to tell her a story. That's why she's here.
Right. Right, exactly. And so they go back and forth, they go back and forth. And it seems as though, what's going to come up in Wonder Woman #1, or at least, what is teased, is we're going to get the story of how Wonder Woman ended up defeating whoever this person is in jail. Um, and so that's really kind of the tease to come back in 2 months.
Yeah, he
Um,
describes the story he's about to tell as the myth
mhm.
that destroyed America and birthed a new wonder. This is the story of how she defeated me. So this is about to be dope.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope
And
it starts right with that.
Tom King has promised that it's going to be which kind of plays into his background. It's going to be a lot of it will be in Washington D.C. It's going to have a lot of
Yeah, for
you
those that
know
don't know, he literally worked for the CIA.
right, right. So it's going to have a lot of there may be some spy components and type of things. Some intrigue is going to be a lot of it as well. So he does that so well. But overall, I really enjoyed this issue. And to your
This
point,
was
you
good.
don't need to have read 799 in order to enjoy the first part of
If
of
there's
800
one
here.
thing that this book told me directly, it's that Wonder Woman is awesome.
Hmm. Right, exactly.
They
And
told
that's
me.
what we talked about this as part of the exactly. She's better than anybody else.
She's the
Um,
best.
but, um, and we talked about that when we were talking about the Flash. There's a lot of times these milestone issues can go one of two ways. Either they can be character altering type things, or they can kind of be celebrations of a character. And this one kind
This was
of,
both.
like Flash, kind of tries to have it both ways almost. Is you get the celebration of a character, but then you also get a second story that kind of catapults you into what could be a huge change for a character as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it was solid. It was good. It was $5.99 cover price for the A cover. I think it's a buck more when you start getting into the card stocks and the foils and stuff like that, but definitely worth the price of admission.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Cannot recommend it enough. Um, so that's going to do it for this episode of DC Comics Deep Dive. We are getting very, very close. I think we only have one more week before we get into Night Terrors.
Yo,
Uh,
yo. I was excited after reading Green Lantern, and then I'm pissed about it all over again after reading Superman. It wasn't a
yeah,
smooth transition. It just said, "See you after a while." Like,
right,
oh
exactly.
god.
And it ended on such a well. We'll talk about it Sunday. Well, we talked about it last night on on DC Comics on your at week's end. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
the
because when this
cliffhanger that it
airs,
ended
that's
on.
right.
Yeah, the cliffhanger that it ended on is like, oh man, gotta wait
Yeah,
2 months for that. Um,
it was such a good issue.
it was. It really was. So go back and watch at week's end, and where we'll talk all about it. So, but that's going to be it for this particular episode of DC Comics Deep Dive. Again, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to leave a comment for us. Tell us how we're doing, what you'd like to see us take a look at. But that's going to be it. I am Paul.
I am
He
Legion of
is
Comics 800.
exactly. He's Legion of Comics number 800. He's a Legacy Legion of Comics #1 though.
That's right.
So, but you are now leaving Sector 2815. Oh, and of
We are
course we're all
Legion.
Legion.
Yeah, this was not our smoothest.